How to apply decals to your model. So, my name is Robert McGregor and I've been doing model making for a long time. I've got this old model here of a Trafalgar class submarine, and what I'd like to do is show you how to apply decals. This is really for beginners. Excuse me, just there's so much dust on it. And it's the way I apply decals. As other people use different methods, but the way I apply decals seems to work for me. So I'm just going to get started. First of all, you need some equipment. You need the decals. As I said, these are old decals. These are some pretty grubby looking decals, but they'll suffice for what we're trying to do today. You need some instructions on how to apply the decals. Here's the instructions on how to apply them. They've got bits of paint on and all sorts. It's not very great, but it'll do for now. You need a paintbrush. There's a paintbrush. You need a craft knife. There we go. One craft knife. You need a cutting board, which is around here, so that we don't cut the decals out onto a surface we don't want to. You need tissues, so there are a few tissues here, or it can be some kitchen roll if you like. You'll need wide tray. I use a sort of an old takeaway tray from a Chinese takeaway or something like that, and you'll need some water in it. So the first thing to do, obviously, is you need to paint the surface of the model. This has been painted, not brilliantly, but it's okay for what we're trying to do today. The next thing you need is you need to cut out the specific decals. So, for instance, if we're going to do these red lines here, this is decal number 16. So I have to look on the decals, and you can see 16 is here. So it's these red lines here. So what I'm going to do is cut out some red lines. There's 2 on this side, and then there's 2 on the other side, and we're going to apply those today. So what we've got to do is we've got to cut them out. So I'm going to cut them out. We cut them out because we don't want all the decals at the same time. Some, by the way, are lifting. We'll sort that out in a minute. So I cut them out. Obviously I want to use the knife carefully, not cutting off any other decals. So I press down quite hard, but very carefully, and then just cut that off. Tear it off like that. And then get the water. Now when you put them in, obviously you need to immerse them completely, and then I like to take about 1 minute to immerse them in for about 1 minute. So if we just put that on for 1 minute, I think it's a good idea to remember that if you put them in for any longer, then what they will do is they will drift off a piece of paper. Now this piece of paper you may think is not very important, but actually it's very important, because the piece of paper underneath it has some adhesive or glue, and that glue will help stick the decals to your model. If it starts to lift and starts to go somewhere else, what you'll find is that the glue won't help stick to the model, the decals to the model. So it's really important that you do that. Okay, we're nearly there. So the next stage, once these decals start to lift, is you're going to lift it out. There's the timer. Now it's a good idea as well to test to see whether it's ready to lift. You get your brush and you lift it out very carefully, because they might just slide off, and you get your brush and you just see if they lift. So basically I'm using the brush hairs to try and lift off the decal. And you can see it's just about lifting now. Or is that my imagination? No, it's not lifting yet, so just leave it in there for a bit, 1 more minute maybe. Decals vary. Some just are really quickly submerged, and they you know, it's 1 minute. Sometimes it's 2 minutes, but you have to be careful. As I said, if you try and take it out too soon, they don't come off, and sometimes you can break them off by accident and they split in two. And other times, if you lift them later, then they just sort of slide off and slop around in the water, and it takes ages to get them back on. Then you lose the glue that's behind them. So let's leave that in a second more.